I'm Luke Andrews with RE/MAX Premier Properties, and I'm a real estate agent, leader, and investor. And today I want to take just a couple of minutes and I want to talk to you about where agents spend their money. So as new agents, what you may or may not know is that first and foremost, you're going to have dues that need to be paid to multiple organizations. You're going to start with your state real estate commission. That's kind of your governing body in your state. That's going to be the legal entity, the laws that you have to follow as an agent. They're going to want their dues. Next, you're going to go to the local board of realtors. This is going to give you things like MLS access. It's going to give you access to other agents, all of their information, access to all of their listings. Then you've got the National Association of Realtors. So what you may or may not know is that there's a difference between being a real estate agent and being a realtor. In order to be considered a realtor, you do have to be a part of that national association. All three of these things, they do require dues. They are all going to be asked to be paid on a monthly or an annual basis. On top of that, you were looking potentially the brokerage that you join or the team that you join, they're going to have dues that you have to pay on a regular basis. Now, these could be monthly dues, these could be annual dues, or these could be just portions of your commission that are paid out throughout the year. Depending on your local board of realtors, you may be using Supra, you may be using CentralLock. All of these are different options for being able to access a home, but they all do come with monthly dues. Next, after dues, you've got software. We talked about being a member of the local board, which gives you access to the MLS. You absolutely need access to the MLS so that you get the data on the homes that your clients want to be able to see. Then you're going to want a CRM, some version of a customer database, a client database where you can keep track of everyone that you're working with. It gives you a place to keep detailed notes. It gives you a way to communicate and contact with everyone that you're working with. Some people are using Follow Up Boss. A lot of people are using Simba now for that customer database. Then you're going to need an offer writing software. Now, your local board of realtors may include an offer writing software for you. Your brokerage or your team may include one for you, but whether they do or they don't, there is a cost that goes along with it. Maybe it's Transaction Desk, maybe it's dotloop. These are all electronic offer writing systems that are absolutely imperative in today's electronic world where we can't necessarily write all of our offers on paper. Then you're going to need some sort of task or process management software. You may not need that in the beginning, but at a certain point, your business is going to grow to where you are going to need to be able to keep track of your tasks and your processes. It could be Trello, it could be Asana. You might need some communication software as well. It could be as simple as text and email, which most of those do have some version of a cost, but you could also be using something like Slack as well, which again is going to have some costs associated with it. Next, you're going to want an accounting software. Uber important in today's market because we need to know exactly what we're spending and exactly what revenue we're bringing in to see, is this even a viable career for us? Some people are using QuickBooks. A lot of people have moved over to Simba for that as well. It's not just the CRM, but it helps out with the accounting as well. You're going to have expenses related to marketing. So when you think about marketing expenses, it's not just advertising your listings, although that is extremely beneficial and helpful. You may be paying Zillow, Realtor.com to advertise your listings, but you're also going to want photos for those listings. You're going to want videos for those listings. You're going to have business cards. You're going to have flyers. You're going to have open houses. There are all kinds of expenses that you have from a marketing perspective. Those are just a cost of doing business in today's market. Next, you're going to have some administrative expenses. As you start to get busier, you may need someone that helps you with transaction coordination, someone that helps you get from contract to close, and that is going to be an expense. You may have to pay for office rentals. So whether you're out on your own and you want to rent an office space, or potentially your team or your brokerage has some version of a desk fee that they charge in order to be able to use their printers, their desks, their phones, their copy machines, whatever it happens to be, you may be paying for that. Phone bills. Phones are absolutely imperative. You can do so much on your phone, but it may require increasing your data plan or increasing the memory on your phone or the capability on your phone, which causes those bills to go up. Next, we're going to move into travel. Your vehicle is going to be a very, very large expense for you. We put a lot of miles on our car as an agent, especially the most successful agents. And so you have to worry about fuel. You have to worry about wear and tear, additional oil changes and windshield wipers, tire rotations, all of those things there. And then while you're out traveling, you may not be at home and be able to have the traditional meals that that you normally do. And so you're having to go out to eat more often, which are additional expenses that start to add up. I'm a part of several masterminds right now with a lot of agents across the country. And one of the big questions we get are, how are agents judged based upon their vehicle? They want to kind of find that sweet spot with their car of they need it to be nice enough to show that they're successful and they're good at what they do. They need it to be reliable so it gets where they're going. They want it to have good, efficient gas mileage, but it also can't be too flashy, because I've had several agents say that they've had a bit flashier of a vehicle and they have been judged negatively by their clients and by their peers. Now, when we think about the tax deductions that you get, because there are great tax deductions, which I'd say talk to your CPA about that, but there are great tax deductions with your vehicles. But those tax deductions are the same whether your vehicle gets 10 miles per gallon or 50 miles per gallon. So you want to think about the fuel efficiency of that vehicle as an overall strategy or component of your income, revenue, and expenses at the end of the year. Now, next, we want to make sure that we are tracking our expenses. So we've talked about all these expenses that we have, but how do we keep track of them on a regular basis? First and foremost, we want to have a dedicated business account. We want to keep our business expenses and our personal expenses separated. One, we want to make sure that we are doing everything right by the government and that we're not getting into any trouble as we're out filing taxes. But two, it makes it so much simpler to file your taxes at the end of the year, to have a quick snapshot of how your business is actually doing and performing if everything is kept separate and you're not trying to do that on a monthly basis. So how do we track those expenses? There's all kinds of software that you can use that helps, again, keep track of your revenue, keeps track of those expenses, puts them into categories for you. It's gonna save you a ton of time, it's gonna save you a ton of headache, and it's gonna keep everything very, very organized for you and have it all just kind of right there at your fingertips. You could be looking at something like QuickBooks, a simple Excel spreadsheet. I use Simba for tracking my expenses. What it does is it keeps everything organized, it keeps everything separated, and then it gives me a quick snapshot and view of how my business is actually performing. No matter what system that you choose, you have to make sure that you're using something for the reasons that we already talked about. Now that we have all this data tracked, what do we do with that data? So you can take that software that we mentioned above, you can start visualizing what your expenses are, you can start visualizing what your income looks like, and then you can start making informed financial decisions. Decisions that are going to help you for the future, to not only stay in the business, but to grow and excel in this business. Because if you have too many expenses that are related to meals, and you don't think that it's adding revenue or value, you can really start to see that on paper. You can see it in black and white, and you can start making adjustments. If you're spending a lot of money in marketing in a certain area and you realize that you're not getting the results out of that, you can make adjustments. But without that information, without that data, without that knowledge being right there for us, we can't make those valuable decisions. Hopefully that was helpful for you, that you get an opportunity to see some of the expenses that an agent incurs on a regular basis, some of the things that you may not have thought of, and then some potential solutions to help you overcome any challenges or pitfalls that you've got from a financial perspective.